All right, hello, welcome to Pareidolia midweek, whatever the world, founder of founder vlog. I don't even know what to call this. The mind of a founder. For my people in my private life or my in my Instagram, whatever. The last one, go check it out. I can't post it because Instagram got some weird limit where you can't post a reel if it's more than 20 minutes. Anyway, for you non brain rotted folk that actually want to listen, Pareidolia's got its first, I'll just say the first contribution of this year. Investments, so whatever you want to call it, has been 3x'd. However, while me, the main operator of Pareidolia, and owner, I have access to like 40% of the funds that we contributed. However, I gotta wait till the 21st for the other 60% of the friggin', overall. So like you can do wires damn near instantaneously, same day, it all boom, done, transferred over, and you're like, holy shit, cool, that is awesome. However, at the same time, you're kind of SOL when it comes to, hey, you want to be able to access all of it, and it's not frustrating. You're getting what you want. You're able to scale up. We're deploying it. I'm pretty sure I'm up to 3% on the funds that I have access to right now, and I don't know, just kind of annoyed. But other than that, scaling up, able to double up sizing wise on certain financial names. And the like scaling up when it comes to the prediction market stuff, events, contracts, whatever. You can call it whatever it is. Legally speaking, it's not gambling. Effectively, it looks like a freaking casino book. Legally, it's not a casino. I don't know where to stand and argue it, but for the sake of argument, prediction markets where you can kind of place your predictive bets, right? Or place predictions on events, whether it's a binary option, and there's certain I don't know, there's a certain indifference personally when it comes to how a legal institution names something versus how a corporate institution names something, whereas functionally it's the same thing, logically it's the same thing. It's like semantics at this point, and just because I'm conflated here because it's like it's one thing, it's another thing. It performs exactly like a different thing, and you're told I don't whatever. So that's been when it comes to like allocation, it hasn't really changed. It's still restricted to 2% per the broker. However, being able to size up has been a little intriguing and entertaining per se. Where now instead of doing, like 5 contracts per binary option, I just call them that because it's more intriguing to me to call it that than whatever they're called, events contracts. With the binary, you just kind of, all right, what's the probability of and then arguing price point, because it's easier to trade on price, specifically pertaining to cryptos, where it's like, okay, I have a binary, I can kind of modify my own like strangle, like I would with my own personal book, that I can't do right now until we're margin enabled. So like things are going well, things are going to accelerate from here. It's just kind of like, you got to wait till the rest of the capital is deployed or deposited, and then being able to deploy it and kind of just work with it and probably get margin enabled, probably get futures enabled. I'm not totally certain there. I want to get puts enabled ASAP. That's just selling puts is my bread and butter as a trader. I'm completely fine with selling covered calls. everything's cash based right now. It's hilarious when I'm getting liquidation. Warning, you don't have enough cash. Yeah, I am an aggressive investor and trader. Like, I don't care for liquidity. I would much rather have the premium for being illiquid than being liquid and, getting chump change in return or performance or whatever. And I everything plays into itself. It's this waterfall cascade kind of deal, and it's working out. So that's kind of where I'm at midweek, almost midweek. Just grinding it out. That's the kind of profile I'm seeing. One of the positions was like almost burned me. And it's off by like 10, 20 cents off or something. You're like, really? This thing decides to rally like 1.5%, spur of the moment, and today. Even though I built out the whole position yesterday, and it's like, what the world? Why? What's going on here? So yeah, not a fun time, at least today. Today would, if I was on a trading floor, if I worked on a trading floor, I'd probably be slamming Tums because it's like, I don't have enough like the company doesn't have cash to cover this position. Because I don't want to get assigned because I just bought a different financial firm. But when you're playing with fire, it's kind of you should expect to get burned here and there. And I think there's a certain level of transparency when it comes to operational, like I'll just say systems. Where it's like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. I don't know how it's going to play out. However, that's not really my largest concern as long as, I'm effectively scalping the equity, we'll say. So like, selling a covered call against the equity, right? The equity is the collateral. And you're trying to sell it for maybe not substantially more, but like, as often as you can float that, let's say, contract over and over and over and trying to repeat that, right? So for me, it's more so a game of, maybe not a game, a puzzle, a challenge of how often can I repeat this transaction essentially until the position gets called away, and then I free up all this capital and I can redeploy it somehow else. That's about it. Like, you're just kind of explaining the system. And there's this viewpoint that I kind of came to this week or in the last few days. Like, I could literally hand you my playbook for the year. I don't want to because there's like 100 names on here. But I got it all on a note card. I got all the names, like throughout, except for maybe 2 lines. And like, you could hand somebody your playbook as a trader, as an investor, I believe. And the viewpoint that I'm kind of at right now is that, like, I could hand you the keys to the kingdom, right? Like, what kind of book I want to build out over time. But there is no way you're going to perfectly replicate what I do, the way I do, how I do it, when I do it, what price points I buy these things at, what price points, what times I sell these things at or for, why I bought them, right? There's a whole completely different like brain operator than in motion versus the other person behind the screen in this case, right? The person listening to me, the person sitting in Dallas, whenever the Texas Stock Exchange opens up, the person sitting in New York, on the NYSE, the person sitting in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or whatever the world the trading floor is out there. I forget, is it Tampa? It may be Miami. I think it's Tampa. And, it's like a completely different game. The viewpoint doesn't stick. And like, I was looking at, a friend of mine recommended me looking into one of his family's ETFs, or excuse me, mutual bond funds. And I was just looking at it like, why in the world is there only 1% in, energy? that seems under allocated. Now it's an active fund, so you have no clue what in the world the operators are thinking. But you know, the viewpoint kind of stands, and it's just like some random mid name, you know, not midstream, some random name, and you're like, why this instead of, you know, a megacorp, vertically integrate, you know, company, bank, not bank, um, energy firm. Like, why them versus, I don't know, for the sake of just pulling an example out, Exxon. You're from Texas, I might as well use them. There's too much at play. There's too many variables to argue and say that, oh, if you hand somebody keys to the kingdom or your book, you know, they're gonna repeat exactly what you do, how you do it, when you do it. It's like I think my viewpoint from that, or my bias against that, is like the deal with all the like politician tracking trading systems, whatever they're called, right? The Pelosi tracker, for lack of better terms. That you know, they're you know, politicians, I believe it's like a 30 to 60 day range that they have to announce, you know, what they transacted in, whether it be themselves, family members, so on and so forth. And I mean, that kind of argument stands where it's like you're getting old information, and it's a completely different game. Like, you're substantially behind. There's ways to even the playing field. I believe it's leverage, but I'm not certain of it. But it surely seems like it. But I will never tell anybody to borrow. Never touch it. If you're not willing to burn the house down, don't touch the stuff, right? It's not, and I know I'm a hypocrite here for saying this, because I just added on like in my own personal book, I added like maybe half of my portfolio value, or increased it, or portfolio value, whatever, usage of it, by like 50%. And it's just like, you know, I know what I'm trying to do with it, but I wouldn't, if you didn't study finance, I just don't see why the world you'd borrow for buying investments, or if you already have a bunch of stuff. But maybe that's just the youthful, you know, energy where you're like, I have to compete against other people, because if I don't get ahead, well, I'm kind of screwed. And that might be a part of the like the startup, or like self-reliant dynamic that I'm falling into or have to deal with, versus other competition, even though I think competition is overrated. And I don't know, I could argue that with going into some of the Peter Thiel stuff down the road if I reread that book. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Subscribe, don't subscribe, whatever. DM me if you're you're seeing this on Insta. You know, like that's the kind of deal, huh? Jumbled up thoughts, jumbled up things. Oh, I got my chair. I finally got my chair. I don't know if I talked about it, but this is like the first real business expense aside from legal fees and what will probably be my accountant. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hype it up if you can. I don't know. I got like 10 subs. So that's all. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just here to share thoughts and hopefully engage in some type of dialogue with other founders and like-minded individuals. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.